Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next a couple hours, along with Senor Nick.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning. And Mike is here. Oh, and I forgot to bring it up. I'm sorry, Mike.
Oh, what a funny guy.
Very nice, Mike. And Spence is here.
I need something more formal than a couple of hours.
Then a couple
You need to tell me, like, down to the minute.
Okay.
Time is money.
2:45.
2:45, exactly. 2:46.
I'm sorry, 1:45.
1:45. Do I hear three?
Good enough.
No, 2.5.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning show is made possible by VMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So what's going on?
Check your check to see that your email password hasn't been compromised.
Where did you see all that?
Oh, it came out on the 17th. The story broke. But it was actually 772 million email addresses and 21 million passwords.
Huh.
So, and you can go to, and I'll put the link up in the chat. You can go and check to see if your email address has been, well, at least listed somewhere on the list.
Fake news.
Yeah, and guess what, Spence?
What?
Life goes on.
It does.
Right? Isn't that amazing?
Well, have you ever tried to fix somebody's email after somebody hacked it? It's not.
See, I've got 22 million passwords.
Yeah.
Just by himself.
Where's your list? I want to see
right here.
He's using LastPass.
I have a server over here to hold them.
See, here's the key with so here's the key with have I been pawned, pwned.com. If your password, so I just put in my primary Gmail address and it says I've been hit on 2 breached sites, and it tells me which sites. But the key is to make sure that there are no pastes available. And what the pastes are is when somebody buys that list, they publish the password list, and they will dump it on a pastebin file or something like that, and dump the actual password. So as long as your password itself isn't on a paste, you're probably fine. You should still change it. But as long as your password's not sitting out there on a clear text file that anybody can pull down, you're probably good.
Okay, I challenge you to type in every email address you've used in the past 2 years.
I just checked a couple of mine, yeah.
And how many of them were clean?
None of them.
Correct.
None of them is clean, or none of them is...
All of mine were clean except for one.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm. And I was hit on this new one.
I had changed them pretty recently.
So this new one is called Collection Number 1. This is the one that Spence is talking about. They're saying the data contained almost 2.7 billion records, including almost 800 million unique email addresses alongside passwords. There really is but they have no full details on where all this information came from. It's just called Collection 1. There's no indication of where any of this stuff came from.
It came from the Mueller investigation.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, these Russian sites.
That's it. It's
Yeah.
Ruskies again.
Oh, I see. So if you scroll down, it tells you where you were
Mhm.
breached, and mine was Adobe and Dropbox,
Yeah, those are some older ones. Those are what, 2015 about? Something like that?
2012 and 2013.
Oh, wow. Even earlier. Okay.
Meaning what? These sites were hacked and this information was grabbed?
Either the sites were hacked or a third party was hacked that had access to those usernames and passwords. But the
Well,
key,
here's the question. This is actually a really good question. If you set up, Nick, a WordPress site for someone that has logins,
Yep.
those passwords are not stored in plain text. They're encrypted.
correct, in the database, they're encrypted.
All right. So is that saying that these passwords are not encrypted?
No, it's just saying that the passwords are grabbed. Now, most of them are SHA-256, so nobody's gonna spend their life breaching your password.
If they are, they're going to waste a lot of time and be really disappointed.
Exactly, and that's kind of part of it. The one, most. Who was it a couple weeks ago that whatchamacallit was storing them in clear text VoIPO? But typically these,
that was a development site though.
yeah, but most of these bigger breaches, like Adobe CC got hit. Those passwords were all clear, or were not. None of them were clear text. So your password hash is out there, but I mean, it's not really going to do anybody any good.
Well, people from the future came back with quantum computing,
Yeah.
and they can crack the encryption now in seconds. So,
Well, I mean,
Well, listen to what Spence just said now. There's a whole lot more to what he just said than it sounded like. This quantum computing, all these passwords are going to take 99 years to crack. Quantum computing cracks them instantly.
Yep. They're making advances now, amazing advances, not hearing much about it.
We are, because I'm
We're
in
in
that
well,
business.
the Chinese are way out there investing billions into quantum computing.
They started on Hillary's email server.
Oh yeah, that was the ground zero.
Which were probably in plain text.
When Spence was talking about it, no, Mike, you were saying I challenge you to type in your password. I don't see a place to type. You meant email?
If I said password, I meant email. Don't type in your password because, I mean, as soon as you type it into
there is
the site, it's going to be Pwned, right?
But I mean, like mine says
They're
Adobe.
collecting email addresses to sell to spammers.
You know what? That would be the greatest scam of all time because it's built into Firefox now too.
What?
Have I been pawned? It's built into Firefox.
But I mean, this doesn't mean much. I mean, Adobe, anti-public combo kit, combo list, unverified. Apollo. I don't even know what Apollo is. Exactus.
Your email. How old is your email address? Though
real old. I mean, we talking since the 90s.
I have the Exacxis one.
Exploit.in. LinkedIn, I know. But you see, this is what's nice about having a different password and a different email address for anywhere I go. Like and I don't mind saying it, on LinkedIn, it was Amnon-LinkedIn at deltaforce.net.
Say that again. I need to get
They
that
can
down.
get it. It's fine.
Didn't you deactivate your account?
It's blocked.
Oh. But here, what are any of your passwords on pastes? According to that site,
I don't know.
It's up at the top, right when you type it in.
Up at the top.
It says, "I've been so many breaches."
Found 9 breaches and found no paste.
So then your password is not really sitting anywhere. So people have it, but it's not sitting on a public list for everybody to have.
I mean, you know that your password that your email has been hacked. I mean, hacked. Somebody got it, but that's not necessarily from here. People can look at news groups. They can look at listservs and they can get it.
Mhm.
But if people are telling you, oh, I got an email from you that was spam and it's talking about you want to give me $5 million. At that point, you know that somebody was using your email address. And luckily for their stupidity, or for the stupidity of many mail servers, those bounces, because a lot of them are going to non-existent email addresses, they'll bounce to whoever is in the from. And if the spammer puts you in the from, it's going to go to you. It's not going to go back to them according to their IP address. It's going to come to you, so you know that somebody's using. And every now and then I get somebody who's calling and said, I just got hundreds of emails from different people telling me that I sent them spam. What can I do? There's really nothing you can do. It's going to stop within hours in most cases.
You can turn off your computer.
You can turn off your computer. But that's the thing that's good about setting up a different email address. And I said it again and again here. You don't have to actually set up a different email address on the server. If your email address is nick@radargaming.com,
No, that's my email.
You can go.
Let me check it. Oh, Nick, see, now you're up there.
And you're going to register on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Then you don't put that email address. You can use the first part of your email address, which would be Nick, put a hyphen or some, many servers also support the plus, and put LinkedIn at wherever it is.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Would not any intelligent spammer
Yes, but they're not. But they're not.
And chop off the part of the email address that includes and after the plus?
Right. Yeah, you would think that they would, but they don't, which is great for us. It doesn't work like that yet. I'm sure it will.
I mean, that's a trivial thing to do.
I know, but they don't do it. I think they don't do it because not many people actually know about it and do it. But yes, absolutely. It's very easy to figure out what they
know how to beat that.
The what?
You know how to beat that.
How to beat?
Instead of, if you have Amnon plus stud at deltaforce.net,
right?
You just never use it without the plus on it. You always use email addresses with plus. So if they go in and whack out the pluses, then you got an invalid email address.
In most cases, that's what happens when you.
But I do another one too. I've got I have an email address that I am required to post publicly by law, and I got really tired of people harvesting that email address and sending me solicitation for things legal. So I finally set up an email address on that domain name called No Reply. And that's the one that I publish legally. It's amazing how it cut back down on it because some of these people apparently do go in and delete the No Reply email addresses.
Well, the No Reply is a whole other no thing. A lot of people are pissed at all this No Reply.
I am
from companies.
Listen, if some company sends me stuff from No Reply email address, I get off their email list.
Yeah, I mean it makes no sense to do that.
But you understand what I said.
Yeah, I do.
My No Reply is a valid email address.
Yeah,
but they don't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
You weren't supposed to tell everybody that, Mike.
But they don't know the domain name.
So here's something. I saw this last night when I was winding down my evening. It was on the top of Reddit. DH is an alert from the Department of Homeland Security. Multiple U.S. government domains hit by serious DNS hijacking wave. And of course, the Ars Technica article tries pinning it on the Trump administration as a shutdown. So honestly, when I first read of it, I said, "Oh man, they literally forgot to renew the domains." And as I was digging through the article, it talked about how this was actually happening. So there are 3 things that were happening here. So none of which, by the way, are lapse of domain registry. So the first thing is the attacker begins compromising user credentials or obtaining them through alternative means of the account to make changes to the DNS record. So just a brute force or some type of social engineering getting a username and password.
Right.
Okay. Next, the attacker alters DNS records like A records, MX records, or NS records, replacing the legitimate address of the service with an address that attains that the attacker controls, rather. Obviously, that allows them to move traffic to their own site. Because the attacker can set the DNS value record, they've also obtained valid encryption certificate for the organizer's domain services. This allows the redirected traffic to be decrypted, exposing any user-submitted data.
Yeah.
Where in this is... why does the government shutdown have anything to do with this?
It has nothing to do with... unless they hired a temp IT person. I mean, the first thing, the brute thing is one thing to get into the record. Now, if you get into the Delta Force record on register.com, there is no information there. You have to get into the DNS itself.
That's what it looks like they got into.
In order to get into the DNS here, you can't. I don't care how much brute. There is no outside people. You cannot get into your, remember?
Yeah.
You cannot get. The only one who can get into it is me.
You have to come to your house and take over your computer. Yeah.
Now, that's where, because I got this from, what do you call it? It's Homeland Security, but it's through another agency. And I sent it to Ron, and I said, we need to do something. And he sent back a message and saying, Amnon, this is really, all this information is really, could have been accomplished in one sentence. They want you to change your password and to use 2-factor authentication for your DNS. That's all they're saying. There's nothing, because I said, okay, now can we add those IPs to our blacklist? He said, no reason to. It's not going to do anything, because that's not what they're trying to tell you. So the way that they're getting in many cases is actually through social engineering. And that's where I was saying, if the government hired a temp IT person because the regular one was on furlough, then somebody can give somebody else a way to get in. But this is again and again the reason why from day one we decided here at Delta Force, control panel. This is where the control panel that allows you access to everything, a lot of things that you really don't even need to get into, is a security hole. Because they can attack that, but they can attack the DNS all day long. There is no interface for them to get in. It doesn't exist.
I just love how this has been spun into a political issue.
Oh, well, of course.
It appears that it's a technology issue. And
it is.
Frankly, I believe the way that this works, and I'm not entirely sure. I believe a lot of IT workers in the federal government are, in fact, contractors.
They are, and they have to understand that you don't give any information. I have customers that one of the secretaries will call in and say, Joe, who's the boss, wants to get the password for such and such. I say, well, you need to ask Joe to call me. I hope you understand. I can't give it to you. I don't know you. And Joe will call, and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't. And he said, no, I appreciate that. I know that it's safe. And this is what happens with a lot. People can get in. It's amazing. There was some article about how they're getting in, and it is just amazing.
The real scary thing with this one is that because they had full access to the DNS, they were able to obtain the TLS, a valid SSL certificate, meaning you pretty much would not have seen you would have noticed probably at all that you were not going to
You
the
would
correct
know,
website.
right?
because
You
It's Chrome is still going to go, okay, yep, green
Yep.
padlock, you're
and
good to
this
go.
is why it's important to. I mean, if you have a website, don't just let it sit there. I mean, you need to go there on daily basis, even a few times a day, just to go. And this way, when you see, hey, this is not us, now you can call your provider and remedy it.
I know my home domain has got hit by one of these flags from Chrome. I don't know how to get past it. The one you and I were looking at yesterday with my home domain.
Oh yeah, no, that's only because you have exes and all that. That's the reason.
Yeah.
Whenever they see that in the
Dangerous.
files there are exe, they say, "Oh no, this is a problem."
So yeah,
See, it's low. Okay, here I come.
They told me to do something here.
Hello,
Hello, this is Gene.
hey Gene.
Hey, wanted to tell Spence that I'm a little confused. I went to I've been pawned, put in my email, and it comes back and says, pawned on 7 breach sites and found no pace. What does that mean?
That
It means
means
that your
go ahead.
your email address is on a list, but your nobody cut and pasted your information to use it. So it's on a list, but it hasn't been exploited.
So is that good?
That's a
bad,
good
or
thing.
indifferent?
That's a good thing. It just when they said the records that were stolen, it was like 770 million email addresses, but of those, only 29,000 email passwords were stolen, and they were encrypted.
Okay,
So
I got
it just
you.
means that nobody
Now, the other
nobody
question
sold
I-
the list
Go ahead.
and actually used it to try to breach. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened to somebody. It just didn't happen to you.
But
it's
I got
not
a question
Yeah.
though on this. Anybody, I would love to know anybody who's listening has a Yahoo account. Yahoo clearly had passwords hacked. I mean, this was well publicized. I'd love if you have a Yahoo account to type it in there and see if it shows that it's been pasted.
Right.
Mine says no.
I know it happened to my brother-in-law because his from and emails from a certain point forward said from somebody named, I forget what the name was, but it wasn't his name. And it turned out the guy had hacked his account and gone in and changed a few of his personal information items. But how did he think he would not get caught when emails coming from my brother-in-law said from somebody else?
Right.
So
That's the thing. That's where we are lucky.
Well, not everything out there is sinister, because I'll tell you why, and I'm not defending any of that crap, but I've got 2 Facebook accounts that one of them is just it actually violates their terms of service because it doesn't use my real name. And even this morning, I get a password reset request. Did you ask? No, clicked on. No, I didn't ask for a password reset. And there's another one that uses my email address it was a brand new account, and somebody went in, set up the account and used my email address. So Facebook sends me all the details. Did you set this up? Well, okay. So whatever. Anyway, I went in and posted on the account. If you're trying to set this account up, then you use the wrong email address. So contact me at this email address with your information and you can have this account. I've done that 5 times, no response. I even know what the person's name is that's trying to use the account, and she won't even take time to read what it says. So I get periodically these password reset requests, and I just ignore them because I'm not going to give the account to just anybody who wants it. She's the one who set it up, and if she'll contact me, she can have it.
Gene?
Yeah, that's good. Listen, the other question I had is they want you to, of course, subscribe to notifications at this website. Protect yourself using 1Password to generate and save strong passwords for each website. Is that a good thing to do? I mean, it sounds kind of complicated to me. I mean, I'm using strong passwords wherever I go. And I got a list of them, and I got an encrypted list of my passwords. Is this just trying to get you to start using 1password.com, or is it worthwhile doing?
Remember one thing. Hey, Gal.
Hey.
Guys, remember one thing. So it shows 8 places that you've been pawned. Now, that doesn't mean that your password was hacked by 8 different sources.
Correct.
It was hacked on LinkedIn and then posted in different places, and it finds that you are there and there and there and there and there. So, it's not the end of the world.
Well, that's what that's one that Spencer was just talking about, that one collection.
Right.
One from January. There was no service that was hacked that had 800 million email addresses. It's a combination of.
It's a combination.
It's probably a combination of the LinkedIn and the Yahoo and all of the recent
with Aqua, whatever.
big exploits that they buy all of it together and it gets put into a new list, and then this Have I Been Pawned group becomes aware of it and starts tracking.
You don't need to worry about it that much, because there's really at this point nothing you can do about it other than changing your email address, and that'll be too drastic to do. I don't recommend. Just wait and see.
I'm not going to do that. Okay, guys, that's good.
All right.
With it, I'll be in the rest of the show. Yep. Good night. Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And keep in mind why this email addresses were stolen in the first place. Without passwords, it's just to come up with really nice lists for spammers. It used to be that they would just. Well, wasn't there a time, Amnon, when they would randomly generate email addresses?
Oh, whatever
they do.
That's called dictionary.
It still takes up resources, even if they're using bots to send out the spam. It still takes up time and resources. So if they have a list of accurate email addresses without creating a.
But and you see and I'm going back to that your email hyphen where you registered. When you get spams, you know who sold or who was hacked, because spans hyphen rock auto is only in one place. Only one source could have been either hacked or sold it, which is Rock Auto. So you know where the breach took place right away. But if you're using your regular email address, I mean, it can be anywhere. So yes, Spence, you're right.
But there's another problem.
Yeah, Gal.
First of all, hi everyone.
Hi.
Sorry.
Hello.
There's another problem with that. I have that. I have probably like 2,000 different emails.
Right.
And I cannot check have I been pawned.
Right. You cannot.
Right. So there is a solution.
Yeah.
So the same way Have I Been Pawned is basically also advertising for 1Password. There is a password. I know of one password manager that goes through the all of the users that you have defined in your vault and check them with Have I Been Pawned in an automated way.
Mm-hmm.
That's Bitwarden, the one I'm using, the open source. The nice thing about Bitwarden is if you are savvy enough, or you know somebody that is savvy enough and you trust them, you can host it on your own, and you don't necessarily need to trust people you don't know. So,
but to tell you the truth, Gal, I don't care if one of those email addresses is found if I've been pawned with that. You know that you will be, because there are a lot of outfits out there that you register and they sell it. I don't care about that, because I can block those. You can always block those email addresses, and I'm thinking about me having access to the server, but I'm sure anybody can ask the provider, hey, Can you, or put in your spam filter, don't accept anything that's coming to that has that in the from or the to. And it's fine. I mean, that's why you making those email addresses. So they are like throwaways.
I agree. I agree. There are also sites where you can generate throwaway emails, and Mailinetter is one that I can think of.
Yep.
They're not acceptable everywhere. So some of the services, let's say you'll try to register to Facebook, for example, they won't accept anything with a Mailinator domain. But some of the sites still use that, and you can keep yourself safe by not providing an email at all, basically providing something you can check immediately, erase, and you don't need to keep track.
Yeah.
I would recommend keeping track on logins that you create there, because sometimes you'll need to reset a password or something. So just keep them in some encrypted list, but you're safe there. It's not connected to any.
Right.
It's not connected to your identity in any way, and it's not connected to any of your systems. So you should be safe using those.
You should be.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing battle, and the truth is that Google by themselves can fix that problem in seconds, literally in seconds. Outlook.com can fix that problem in seconds. All these big, I mean, we tried to fix it and we can't, because we're not that big. You have to have a big provider to do it. All you have to do is say that mail can only be sent from legitimate mail servers. That FQDN, I can't remember what it was. But if it's not from there, reject it. We tried it. I keep trying like once or twice a year to see if things get better. But you find out that a lot of the big companies out there, or legitimate companies, are misconfigured. Their mail server is misconfigured, and you start rejecting. And I talked about it before. In the early days, I used to call those companies and say, look, your email server is not configured right, and we are rejecting. And there were a lot of system administrators, when I was given access to them, that said, what do we need to do? I said, you need to make sure that your email server is properly configured so we can look at it. But Google, Outlook, all these big guys, they're not interested, because they're making money from spammers. So they're not interested in fixing it. There are so many other ways that they can fix, and let's not say fix, lower it to the point that it's not going to be worth spammers to even try, because they know that 99% of their traffic is going to go bad. Nobody's going to sell your stuff. Nobody's going to buy it, those lists, because they know, okay, we buy it. Nobody's going to buy it from us because they can't send out. There are ways to do it, and they choose not to. And until one of the big ones is going to jump in and say, okay, that's it. We don't accept any email from misconfigured or not fully configured mail servers. It's not going to get fixed. It's too bad, but that's what it is. 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype.
Arnie, what's your question? He said in chat that he's got a question. So let her rip.
He's probably typing.
Yeah. That's a long question.
Right. Yeah, it's fine.
There's Mailinator, and then there's another one too, Gal. I don't know if it's called 10minutemail.com. If you need to sign up for a service, just to get past a page, they generate a 10-minute temporary email address, and it's just this one I just generated is 0995145 at nwytg.net. So if you need to just get past if you need to get past something and get an email from them with a code or something like that, just temporarily.
I wonder when they're going to start blocking.
They do. The Mailinator's got almost all of their domains blocked on a lot of services, so I had to stop using it because it would say, "Oh, not a valid email address." So it's 10. Oh crap! I lost it.
10-minute mail.
10-minute mail. 10minutemail.com. 10-minute mail.
What? Oh, he's asking, what is the pie hole?
I lost the chat.
I have no idea.
Something to do with
black hole for internet advertising. So I assume it's running on Raspberry Pi.
It's a honeypot.
Yeah, it's a honeypot. Yeah.
Okay.
And probably a web. You put it as a web proxy on your connected to your router, and then any traffic will be blocked like that. Network level. Advertisement and internet traffic. Yeah. I'm gonna play with it and I'll report on it the next week.
I was interested in this.
So if it blocks all ads on a network, what does it do to pages with embedded ads? If you're it blocks it and leaves a blank space, or does it break the page? Because if you turn off tracking or turn on tracking, turn off third-party cookies and all that on some sites, it's very annoying now that you get the pop-up to say, "Oh no, you need to turn off your ad blocker in order to use this page."
First of all, when you get to that, right, the best ad blocker today, uBlock Origin, knows how to circumvent even those messages.
What's it called?
uBlock Origin.
uBlock Origin. Is it an add-in for browsers?
It's an add-in for browsers. So it's not ubiquitous, right? uBlock Origin. But as long as you browse with that, you can add, they have you have a lot of lists that you can register and it updates automatically on the rules. One of those lists are anti-ad block ones. So because those please don't use an ad block on our site messages, they are just using the same technology, just detecting that something was blocked, right? So they can be blocked as well. Ad blocking is, philosophically, is a problematic issue, right? Because we all want to keep the web free, but we also hate ads. So we need to figure out a way that actually works.
There was something here about blocking. Google and Chrome is going to start blocking. No, is going to disable ad blockers and going to make it so they cannot be developed. I don't know how they're going to do that. Somebody will always find a way to do it, but starting with Chrome 69, I think they said. I don't think I kept the story. It wasn't that.
So why would they want to basically piss off their customers to the point of finding another browser because they take away the ad blocking?
Because how much?
I understand. It's a rhetorical question.
No, how much did you pay for Chrome?
Nothing, but they're making money off of us, Amnon.
They're making money. No, they're making money off of ads.
You just answered the question.
What?
You just answered your own question.
Yeah, no, I know.
They're not getting ad revenues from ad blockers, but I'll tell you this: the day it stops working is the day I'd stop using Chrome, except for those applications that are Chrome only.
And that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Is that I'm sure they realize that, but most people just don't care.
Yeah.
There are a lot of free services that are rolling back their free stuff because they're apparently not getting the benefit out of it. I think they're looking at getting more ad revenue out of disabling it than they are losing customers. If they make $100 million with ad blocker in place and $200 million with it not in place and cut their user base by 75%. I mean, that's called a win-win.
I also find it funny that you can go to some news aggregators and they'll have a link to a story that's behind a paywall. And it's like, why do you assume that everybody's willing to pay each of these sites to get to a story? It's just funny.
Oh.
Well, you need to remember they don't need everyone to pay. They need a small amount of people to pay to make it lucrative.
To pay a lot.
Yeah. So so they don't care. And this way, when they cater to a smaller audience, it's a lot easier to work, right? Because the demands of the smaller audience, especially after they paid, are more specialized, if you will. So yeah.
Is there a way to turn off automatic updates in Chrome?
Nope. Well, I mean, there are hacks, but no, not officially.
Yeah, well, okay. They're just like Tim Cook at Apple. They're just telling me, we don't want your business. You're not important to us. That's okay.
Well, so I'm reading here. I understand that I understand the tech speak, and it has nothing to do specifically with ad blockers, but ad blockers might be affected. And again, it seems that they're not going to the whole idea is that they're going to rewrite some of the APIs that are available within the browser. Why that's their reasoning, and it also with technology evolving, there's a lot of reasons. Some make more sense, some others, some make less sense. It doesn't really matter. Usually the drive is security, and when you introduce some more secure features into an API, then things become more complicated, to say the least. If not,
the article that I was reading said that they are going to make it so developers could not come up with a way to block ads in a different way.
yeah,
I don't know how, but that's what the article said that Google was stating.
So I'm looking at an article from Merch Today. I don't know much of Martech. Sorry, Martech, and it's pointing to some of the links. The thing is that an ad blocker, if you think about it, right, it is manipulating the page, and the page cannot do much about it. And I can understand that being a problem, but there should also be a solution. The specific of what they're proposing, I don't know, because I'll need to read it in depth. And I'm assuming that yes, it will affect ad blockers at first, right? Because everything's going to change. It's going to affect probably a lot of extensions that are changing things on the page. So there are some extensions that just provide you peripheral data about your browsing, right? Like an extension that will tell you how many emails on Gmail you have unread, right? That doesn't make any changes to the page itself. And so they probably want to create a situation where changes to the page can be controlled by the page author. That's what I'm thinking. But I'll need to go into more detail to be sure.
It's not there yet.
Yeah.
We have to wait and see. I mean, it may just be something that they cannot do.
They've been talking about it since 2018. There have been blog posts about it. there's a lot of things that they'll do, and yeah, and if it'll break the experience for a lot of people, that might affect. But do remember that most people don't browse with an ad blocker. It's a sad reality, but most people don't. I know that when I come to my peers at work, right, and I go to the same sites that we use for reference, and it looks completely different to me because I see it in a very clean format because of the ad blocker. And I mean, if I needed to work like that, I couldn't, because my attention would be drawn to a million things popping. I couldn't use those sites. So, yeah.
I trust there will always be a browser that will not allow that stuff.
Well, you got to be careful of a new browser that's out there. I don't remember the name of it, but Sean and I were looking at it this week. There's a new browser out there that's calling themselves an ad blocking web browser. And on paper, it sounds great, right? They're going to block the ad. They're going to block advertising for you. So, but what they're doing, and in my opinion, it's very scummy, is they are by default blocking advertising, but they're not removing it. They are injecting their own advertising, and they're making money on replacing let's say the Google ad with their own ad that they're making money on, and then they give you credits that you can then use to do things with on their little marketplace that they've got. So I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but
Nick, let's suppose that you jump to that browser thinking that you're going to get rid of ads, and all you do is get different ads. You're not going to keep using it.
I don't think you will, but it's
a business model.
Correct, but just I want people to be aware of when you see services, because their big claim to fame is that their big claim is that they automatically block internet advertising, and they don't. They just replace it with their own garbage. So what's happening here is now you're totally screwing the content creator. They're making no money, and this third party crappy web browser is making all the money for no reason. You're still looking at ads. But instead of helping the YouTube video, maker or whatever, you're helping these guys, which is odd.
Look, everybody's got to pay the bills. I get that. I'm not complaining about it. But I will tell you that this person's not a friend, but I guess an associate or colleague who has a quite successful website. And this person has ads between almost every paragraph. And guess what? I quit reading the site.
A lot of them are doing that.
And of course, there's this other deal where they put this clickbait out there. Look to see what the stars from 30 years ago look like today. You click on it, and it's 25 of the biggest stars. See what they look like today. Every bio is on a new page.
That's some BuzzFeed and Huffington Post stuff. That's exactly what they do.
Lots of places do it. There are places do it at sites you never heard of. You even be careful clicking on the site to begin with.
And that's big money.
Well, I get it, but you know what? If I were an advertiser and I saw them doing that, I would be smart enough to realize that the clicks that they're reporting are exaggerated tremendously.
Well, you got to remember though. So the advertiser is not buying ads on those sites directly, most likely. They are buying those ads through a third-party ad network like Google. It's not AdSense is where you make money. AdWords is the one where you buy stuff. So buying it through Google AdWords, in which you are saying, okay, Google, sorry for setting off people's devices. Okay, Google, I want $1,000 worth of internet ads a month, and I want it to be targeted towards this, this, and this. And Google is going out, purchasing those ads on your behalf and displaying your advertising.
Right. And Mike, if you're interested to know if that's the case with that friend of yours, all you have to do is reload the page, and you will see that those ads change. It's a different ad.
I get it, but the point
I
is
understand your point.
Pay the bills. I get that.
Yeah.
And I don't block every ad on every page. I see plenty of online advertising. I'm looking right now at Carolina Apparel exit 97 left next to JR.
Yeah.
I don't block every ad, but my gosh, when you're trying to read an article in a blog and every paragraph or two has a new flashing full color ad, I said, I can't take it. I don't.
Or a motion tracking a video clip of something that they want you to watch.
Yeah, I'm just
I've
not
tried turning off all that stuff, and it still can't defeat it in some sites.
I'm just not going to do it.
All
I
right.
used something on my phone called Simply Lines. It's a great little app that allows you to select some news sites, and what it does is it uses a series. You can select which reader you want to use, and you click on the story, and it just opens it as a text file. So you can avoid all. And some sites break, to be honest, but 99% of the time it works really well. Simply Lines, it's called.
Well, that's what AMP was originally supposed to do. AMP is I don't remember the name of it, but that was WordPress has done a lot with AMP, and AMP is a short reading format online where I mean that's pretty much what it's for is just text content. What is AMP? I'm looking for a definition of AMP.
Well, you still have Pocket. It's at getpocket.com.
Oh yeah, Pocket.
Yeah, I think that works on all platforms. It used to be called Read It Later, and what they do is you usually put on ad browsers. There's also phone apps for that, and when you click the extension button, it saves a bookmark to the article, and it also allows you to read that same article in a very clean text ebook type formatting. So so it makes reading a lot easier. Firefox, by the way, has that built in, and you just have a button on the address bar, and you can read it in clean format. So
yeah, it'll say reader view available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just press F9 and you can read the page in the formatting of your choosing. You choose the font, you choose the size of the font. It makes it very readable. So,
well, we've talked here in the past about Vivaldi. Our friend Steve really liked it a lot, and I use it. In fact, I'm in the chat that I'm in now. The Computers 2K Now chat is on Vivaldi, and I have problems with it. I can go to some websites, even, God forbid, when I go to a local TV station's website, things move around on the screen. There are traces of images that never disappear. I mean, it does some really stupid stuff on some very sophisticated websites. I blame it on the websites for doing that crap, but it's the fact is that when you need to look up something, if that's the only place you can find it, you need to be able to see it. So at this point, if all this crap comes down on Chrome, I go to Firefox, and being open source, hopefully there will be enough people who don't want ad blockers that they will not get involved in that crap with that Chrome is doing. Because I mean, Google is world famous for doing what they darn well please without regard for what their customers want.
Well,
okay, but they know
remember, you need to remember that we're not their customers.
Well, I disagree. And the reason I disagree is because they sell advertising, and if nobody goes to the websites using their browsers, they don't get any money.
Right, but the ad seller, the ad posters are their customers, not we. We are just consuming.
Oh, what if nobody sees the ads?
That's on them, but we're still not their customers. That's what I'm saying.
I disagree. We're part of the whole plan. I mean, we've got Nick and I are involved in a radio station. So who are our customers? Our customers are our advertisers. But if nobody hears those ads and responds to them, we don't have any customers. So the smart way to look at it is you'd better appreciate your listeners and treat them like customers.
Well, there's two different kinds of customers. There are the customers like what you've just described, like the client buying the thing, but then the customers are also the people using the platform, using the website, listening to the radio, watching the TV, whatever it may be. I mean,
and the number of people, Mike, I think, the number of people who would say or who would follow your suit, if it comes down to that, I'm switching. Yeah, it's not significant enough for them to say, "Oh, you know what? Let's not do it." Maybe if they find out that the numbers decline big time, they go say, "You know what? Okay."
They know, but I'm just telling you, Amnon, that we've already seen it many times. We will continue to see it over and over again. somebody makes a change, they lose their customers. People like us go on the show and start whining about it. And in fact, they're sitting in their boardroom saying, fantastic, we got rid of all these non-productive deadbeats who are blocking ads. Now we don't have to have as many servers to provide the service to support the browser, as many developers, because we've cleaned up our act. We've downsized a little bit, but guess what? We're making 3 times the money. We're not even in that formula. We have no say-so at all, and it happens all the time. But as far as this business about who's a customer, I mean, there's a lot of MBA speak that Gall probably hears in his company. There's a lot of, and you too, Spence, you think back at Northern Telecom days, there's a lot of MBA speak that anyone who influences your workday, you need to look at as a customer. Even though they're a vendor, they're a customer because they can provide valuable information to you that helps you become successful. The people who actually buy your product are your customers. You have internal customers, who is the person sitting in the cubicle next to you. So it's a broad term other than just people who have made a purchase from your company.
Oh, it feeds off, everything feeds off the other entities. It's a constant. I remember I used to call it the pendulum theory, about how if you ignore one segment that you're not recognizing at that moment, you can only do it for so long before the business starts to deteriorate. So if you go over to one side and cater to one specific element of your customer base, ignoring the other ones, and you realize, oh crap, and then the pendulum would swing the other way, and they'd be taking care of those customers, and the first customers are abandoned. It's really hard to do.
Can we do special?
Successfully. Can we?
Yeah.
Sure. Actually, I just opened the specials in Vivaldi.
People are waiting for that.
It might be in a different language. I'm not sure yet.
It's in Russian.
It's all written in musical notation here instead of in English. No, we can do it. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Computers 2K Now specials for January 27th, 2019. And Amnon, I want you to buy me one of these $3,398 10 meg hard drives. Are they still available?
I probably have one on the shelf.
Yeah, probably.
I can confirm.
I remember that my first 10 meg hard drive, I actually had a machine I built, a PC-1, with 2 10 meg drives in it.
And you're
in an expansion cabinet. I had the base cabinet with 2 floppies, and then the expansion cabinet with 2 10 meg hard drives in it.
And you're in luck too, Spence, because he's going to sell it to you for 75% off.
That's it. That's it. All right.
I remember.
Yeah, it's pretty startling. Okay, so starting with laptops at Best Buy, we have a Intel Core i3 laptop from Lenovo for $349. It's 50 off. Office Depot has a HP Pavilion laptop, Core i7 for $629. That's $170 off. And starting to see now Pentium Silver processors, a new branding name, which is actually a quad core. It's kind of like it's the 5000 series instead of I think it was, what was it called? The 1700 series was their first quad core low end. But fairly decent performance for web browsing and so on. I wouldn't use it for video editing necessarily, although I do have one that I do use it on. $299 for this laptop for $120 off. Somebody have something to say? Oh, sorry. Okay. Desktops, all-in-ones at Best Buy. We've got a HP gaming desktop with a Ryzen AMD 7 series, 16 gig of memory for $699. That's $350 off the regular price. And we've got a Ryzen 3 all-in-one. It's a Lenovo 23-inch screen for $479. That's $170 off. And Staples has a HP all-in-one with Intel Core. I think it's a Core i5, 23-inch screen for $659. That's $170 off. Tablets. Best Buy has a Samsung Galaxy Tab 4, 10.5-inch, $549. Save $100. Expensive tablet. I don't know what the quality is like. They didn't have a whole lot out there today for sale. Office Depot has a Lenovo Flex 6 14-inch touchscreen laptop for $749. It's the only thing from their actual ad without going through and hunting through their website. $250 off. Good ratings on these, on the Lenovo Flex machines. And finally, Staples has an Amazon Fire 7 tablet for $49. Now, this is not from their regular ad, but it is a 1-hour pickup item at the store. Networking. Best Buy has a Netgear dual band AC 1600 router with a 16x4 DOCSIS cable modem for $129. That's $30 off. Office Depot has a Linksys TriStream tri-band MIMO router for $199, which is $50 off. And Staples has a Google Wi-Fi AC 1200 dual band whole house Wi-Fi system. Now, this is a three-unit system, base station, and 2 slaves. $649, which is $250 off. Or I should say $50 off the regular price. Storage. We have a 512 gig SanDisk Ultra internal solid state drive for $79 at Best Buy. It's $120 off. Office Depot has a 2 terabyte Western Digital external portable drive for $69.99. That's $40 off. And if you're looking to stock up on thumb drives, Staples has 16 gig 10 pack USB 2.0 flash drives for $54.99. I'm not sure. Do the math. Well, I guess $5.49 if it's 10, right? Not bad for 16 gig drives. If you want to do some archiving, you want to distribute your latest virus by dropping these in a parking lot somewhere, this is the way to go, right?
No, you don't need 16 gig to do that.
No, you don't.
I wish you could buy. I use them to play things in my car. I wish I could find some 4 gigs.
Yeah, it's just not manufacturing them anymore.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I still have a whole bunch of 1 gigers that I got. It was promotional from Nortel from trade shows. When they discontinued this particular one, they gave me a bag of them. And I've since used them all, distributed them, given them away. I still have maybe 15 or 20 of them left, but I have all kinds of stuff stored on them. Great. One gig.
Well, I will tell you this. You better go, if you care about it, you better get it off of them because those things suck.
They've been good so far. I don't have anything critical out there.
Yeah, it's not critical. In fact, I will give you a 4 gig for every 4 of those you give me, or an 8 for every 8.
Accessories. We have a Logitech MK540 wireless keyboard and mouse combo at Best Buy for $39.99, which is $20 off. Actually seeing some sales on CDRs and DVDRs out there. Office Depot has it $3 to $18 off, depending on which one you buy. Verbatim, blank media. I still have a closet full of stuff, but I am running low on actual CDRs. I might just get a sleeve of these for those occasional times when I need it. And Staples has a Logitech illuminated keyboard. This is the K740 for $59.99, which is $20 off.
That's a good keyboard.
Yeah, these are nice. And it's well lit too. It's not. It doesn't have like hot spots where it's bright in one spot and weak in another. It's well made. Monitors and multimedia. We have a 27-inch LED FreeSync monitor from HP at Best Buy for $139.99. It's $110 off. Office Depot has an Acer 24-inch monitor for $99, save $20. And Staples has a Samsung 24-inch curved monitor for $149.99, save $30.
Okay, I got questions here about monitors because I'm running low again. So
what happened here? I'm sorry, I messed up this. I just realized here I did an edit this morning that's weird. So I apologize for this being screwed up here.
What's screwed up? What are you
there's an image in the center of the screen. When I cut and paste these in, I have to manipulate them and move them around on the screen. I must have pasted it twice.
Yeah, well,
not noticed it. Well, I can still talk about it. I can still talk about this stuff.
Go back up on these 3 monitors.
Yes, sir.
This, I mean, anything HP on it, I treat like Netgear. I'm not interested, but monitors are sort of an exception. I don't even know if they make their own monitors. But talk to me about this 27-inch IPS LED FHD. What is a FreeSync? What is all that? I mean, my only question is, what's unique about this monitor? Is this really a good price on it? The Save 110 is fictitious. That's not really the price. Is this a decent monitor? Because I actually need to get one, and I really don't want to pay over about that amount of money for a monitor.
I can speak on FreeSync. FreeSync is AMD's gaming. So NVIDIA's got G-Sync, which is like it's a protocol for the video for their monitors. FreeSync is AMD's. So FreeSync monitor is really more for high performance gaming, but it's got to be in conjunction with a FreeSync. I mean, you don't have to use FreeSync, but you're paying a little more for that functionality. And
I guess that's kind of like the old multi-sync. Remember multi-sync in the early days?
It might be, yeah.
But IPS, LED, FHD. I know what LED means. FHD.
Well, IPS is in-plane switching, and it was something to fix a problem with monitors years ago. It's still around, but it's mainly to be compatible with older display cards. And FHD, give me a second, I'll find out what that is.
While you're looking,
fantastic high definition.
Really?
All right, great.
Full,
so
no, it's probably
full high definition.
All right. So the reason I'm asking, because a couple of years ago, I bought a couple of Dell 24-inch monitors. I don't never buy anything smaller than 24 inches. And they are really bright and washed out. They are just not quality monitors. They're cheapies, and they were cheap. Is this a good monitor in your opinion, based on what you've read?
Remember something, Mike. We don't recommend it. It's not.
We don't know if you recommend it. I asked whether it was a good monitor.
I would look more at the
Teslas are good cars, but I don't recommend them.
It's $139.
The connectivity. What are they giving you? The newer monitors mainly are either HDMI or in some cases, do any have direct DisplayPort connections?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about
some of them do. Yeah.
Some of them do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to try one, but I've hesitated. The other thing I was going to bring up is I've hesitated to get into the curved monitor thing. Number one, because I don't know whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And number two, because if I get one and like it, now I've got to buy about 6 more.
Yeah. They're slick. I mean, they really do have a nice, I've seen some office desks with them.
Mike,
and the prices, thank goodness, have come way down.
Let's keep going with the specials. But Mike, what you need to do really is what you just said. Buy one, see it for a few days. If you like it, that's fine. Let us know. If you don't, return it.
Okay, so let me ask this, Amnon. If we got questions about specials, do you want to wait till the end and talk about it, or just not talk about it?
We should, because I mean, again, I don't think we should that we can answer many questions about the special. The special is just what you see. I never had one of these. Did anybody here have any one of these monitors? No. So, it's all assumptions and stuff until you put your eyes on it. Then we can answer the question.
Okay.
Amnon, I keep saying, if somebody wants to send me these things to test, I'm more than happy to do that.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I look for kind of a broad spectrum of prices. I try to see what's out there, and I go with usually a high end, a middle, and a low end monitor from the 3 different vendors. And so the low end is the Acer, the middle one is the HP, and the high end is the Samsung. Just to have options out there. I don't think they're producing anymore. Well, I'm not that for sure about that, but the fluorescent tube backlit monitors. I hope not, because number one, they're a waste of power, and number two, they have a much shorter life. The 4 that I have on my desk, I have 4 24-inch monitors. I have my main desk, my office desk, and I have my play desk here. They're unfortunately fluorescent backlit because these were purchased at a time when they were just coming out. And they've worked okay. I mean, I haven't had any. They're not on all day anymore. It used to be, but they cost at the time I purchased them probably $150, $160 each back then. And now I'm sure I could replace this with that 24-inch Acer. Is probably, these are Acer monitors, are probably similar. This looks like it's not a LED, and I don't know if it would say it or not necessarily. If I see something weird about them, I usually do drill down into it. But monitors are such a commodity now that it's hard to say. All right, printers and scanners. We've got an HP NB 5055 all-in-one printer. This is an entry-level price. It's half price, $59.99. Save $60. The thing that's a blob that's sitting on there is actually repeated later, but the Epson ES300W scanners on sale for $249 at Office Depot, say $50. And a Dymo label maker wireless desktop label printer at Staples for $139, which is $20 off. Best Buy has a Night Owl HD 8-channel 4-camera wired 1 terabyte DVR surveillance system for $249, $50 off. And the reason I even mentioned this one is because Night Owl is a very well-respected brand, high quality. I used Zomoto. I've installed two Zomoto systems, which is it's got nice features, but some confusing setup, especially with the standalone products. But Night Owl has like I said, a great reputation, good high quality stuff. Office Depot has Google Home Mini on sale for $29, normally $49. This is not from the regular Sunday ad, but it is a sale on their webpage. And the Google Home Hub smart home controller at Staples is on sale for $99. And pretty much all the retailers have the same price, $99, which is $50 off the regular price. Here's something new. This is in the printer department, Brother MFC J5845DW. They're calling it Ink Vestment Tank. And the reason for this is because this can hold, it says, and this is a business class printer, that they say 300 or so prints, well, 300 prints per month considered a business duty cycle. Doesn't sound like a lot. But they're saying you can go a whole year with one without changing out the supplies. And they created a tank inside this to hold ink besides the cartridges themselves. They made the cartridges larger. And what caught my eye about this, it is expensive, $199, $50 off. It's 11 by 17, and it's got scanned directly to cloud surfaces like Dropbox, Google Drive, Evernote, OneNote, and so on, which is handy. And just the fact that they're trying to address the issue with business class inkjet printers with providing higher capacity tanks. Well, this does have tank and cartridges. That's the new thing that they did. Is it's not the unchangeable or hard to change printhead now. They have it's a combination of both. You can change out there's a cartridge and a tank. So I don't know the technology. It's just something new. I went to the page and looked at it. So if it really does solve that issue, I just am not I've pretty much given up on inkjet because I don't have a need to have that high resolution photo printing anymore. I use my Dell laser color printer if I need color. So it's tax season coming up again. So this isn't necessarily a tax product, but it's got me interested in it. QuickBooks Desktop Pro with enhanced payroll 2019, $200 off the regular price for $299. So if you're looking to upgrade your QuickBooks, here's a chance, or get started with QuickBooks. Great program. Most accountants have direct importation of the QuickBooks files. So if you want to run payroll through an accountant, you can just upload. You can also send all your information to them for tax time, which is nice. Amazon Smart Plug for Alexa. I don't have one of these, but last week I mentioned something about these just very simple switched outlet devices, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But having smart plugs like this gives you a lot of flexibility around the house if you want to set up a temporary lighting system for while you're away and use Alexa to control it. Inexpensive. They don't dim. They're just switches. One thing to keep in mind is take a look at the wattage rating on these. Also, I don't know if these are electronic. They may not work very well with LEDs because LEDs don't draw enough current to really. What is an SCR that does the switching in these? I don't know what the component is, but it's got to draw quite a bit of power. I have my Christmas lights running off this, and I have outdoor lights that are all LEDs, and I have one of the old X10 boxes. I have to actually put somewhere in that load an incandescent bulb to get that switch to work properly because it wasn't drawing enough power. Probably got to do with the way the power supplies work for the LEDs. But handy. So a smart plug from Alexa at Office Depot for $24.99. A Ring doorbell at Best Buy for $229.99, save $70. This is the Pro doorbell and Chime Pro bundle. Best Buy also has a SanDisk 128 gig plus micro SDXC card for $46.99. That's 82% off the regular price. If you have a requirement for recording, say, video at high data rates, this is the way to go. And Office Depot has a TP-Link smart plug Wi-Fi plugs 2-pack for $44.99. And don't forget that if you do go to Fry's, there are some things that show up under the promo codes that can be good deals. If you're looking for a knock-around TP-Link router, here's an AC 1200 wireless dual-band gigabit router for $34.99 with promo code. Okay, Fry's. This is an interesting device. Haven't seen this before. Although there have been Lightning connectors for flash drives, there hasn't been one that's a micro SD card reader that plugs into an iPhone, iPad, iPod. So here you have now for $29.99, 10 off, an SD card reader that will fit the Lightning connector, making it easy for you to back up directly to a memory card your content on your phone. CyberPower 1325 VA battery backup, $119. That's $20 off the regular price. Here we go. Discussion time. Belkin Conserve Power Switch. I mentioned this the last specials I did, how this was a slick idea and I was going to order something like this. So I did some research on this, and it turns out that this, while they advertise it as being able to be used for heaters and coffee pots and things like that, and primarily the design of this is to prevent devices that use sneak current for soft on-off controls, stop them from using power or from something that would draw power even when it's off, whatever that would be, a power supply for recharging something. Great idea. However, this one is only rated at 1400 watts. And if you have a 1600 watt heater, 1 amp is up to, I think it's 1875 watts. It's going to fry it. And that's the complaint that people had, is that the thing melted when they used it. Did not tell them anything about watch out what you plug it into. So not recommending this product, although there is one on Amazon that is a full 1875 watts. I did install it. I bought it and put it on a small electric heater used in the bathroom. It was because it has smart controls on it. Even though you turned it off every once in a while, if you didn't press the right button, you might have put it into a standby mode and you come back in the room, it'd be on. So I wanted a way to turn the thing off at the wall without unplugging it. And I bought the switch, and it's a full 1875, 15 amp load capable. Sorry to go into a long discussion there, but I wanted to make sure that nobody bought this because it's got a terrible reputation. Okay. Pogo Cam, wearable camera. Now that doesn't show how it's used, but it's supposed to connect to eyeglasses, whether it's sunglasses, regular glasses. It's a cool idea. $29.45, so you can get and it's $19.95 with a promo code to record stuff from the point of view right on your eyeglasses. I thought that was a neat idea. Probably not for bungee jumping and snowboarding, but if you do,
With
a
with
lot of people
enough
who
duct
do.
tape,
What's that?
with enough duct tape, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think I thought of one thing. My daughter was looking for something. She does crocheting and she does instruction videos on YouTube, and wants a way to do easy recording of what she's doing. And this, if it's attached to your head, I mean, you could do it with a GoPro with a head strap and all that stuff. But this is an inexpensive way to try it out. It's really a good idea.
Yeah.
1x4 HDMI switch from Belkin, 1999. That's half price. I put this the Logitech stuff up here because I used to have all of their early versions of this. I had the yoke and I had the rudder pedals, and these are just so much better than back then. This is really cool stuff. But I used to fly Flight Simulator. The pedals, unfortunately, were not realistic. They weren't balanced, where you push on one and the other one would rise, kind of a thing, the way it really does in an airplane. But cool stuff, and the prices, it's pretty cool. If you want to get into flight simulator programs, well, all my stuff is all controlled by the old joystick card, not through USB. This is all USB stuff, so much better usability on them. So they're both $169, which is their regular price. Okay. Gigastone 16, 32, or 64 gig 3-in-1 flash drive, micro USB, USB-C, $12.99 each. It's kind of interesting there. Kind of an out there product that is micro USB and USB-C combination. Interesting. PNY 128 gig USB 3 flash drive for $25.99, 35% off. And this is the big kahuna, 256 gig supersonic boost USB 3.0 flash drive, $41.99, which is 30% off. And that's it for today for specials, computers, 2K Now specials for January 27th, 2019.
All right, Spence, thank you.
You're welcome. Again, if anybody out there would like to be my beneficiary or my what do you call it, my sponsor, and send me the stuff to test, I would be more than happy to do it. I'll even send it back when I'm done. I need to go into these stores and tell them what I do.
Yeah, good
say,
luck.
Hey.
I want to go back to Mike's point about the monitor conversation, because there's a guy, there's a YouTube channel named Linus Tech Tips. He's very popular. He's got just over 8 million subscribers. And one of the ways that they make money is not just from YouTube, but every time they talk about a product, they put an Amazon affiliate link into their video. And because they're so popular, with over 8 million subscribers, anybody that's ever used Amazon affiliate knows you can see what people are buying with your affiliate links. So they often do these videos called, why is everybody buying fill in the X, fill in the blank? Because they've got so many people buying monitors, they'll do these things. So there's a monitor on Amazon. It's an HP monitor. It's the HP 22CWA. It's a $99 monitor, and they go through and they do reviews of these typically cheaper lower end monitors, because they see that, tens of thousands of people or a couple thousand people are buying these monitors. So I'll post a link to his channel here in the chat, but Mike, I would watch a couple of these. I've watched almost all these. I just don't remember the details. But they'll test, cheap Amazon monitors, cheap AliExpress monitors, and go over the pros and cons with the full color scape. And, this one's great if you're just using it for browsing, but if you're trying to do, video editing or input lag or all that stuff, it's not. But I'd recommend a couple of these videos, just based on that.
I did a search, and CNET actually has that. If you don't want to have to think about it, here's what you should look for.
Yeah.
Just two things. I said, if you want a 4K monitor, go with a 27-inch that does IPS for about $500, or go with a 24-inch full HD monitor that you can get for less than 150.
Yeah, and it seems like depending on what your use case is, if it's just, sitting at a desk with, word editing and email and some web browsing, I mean, frankly, you could probably buy any sub $150 monitor and be good to go. That would be my guess. I mean, I'm not going to, don't take that as an end all be all statement, but yeah, I mean, you'd probably be fine with something like that.
The advantage to a curved monitor is that it's the best way to make a single display wider without forcing you to sit back too far.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because you do think if you're sitting, I've got 224, so I have, what's the width of a 24 diagonal? I don't know, 20 inches, something like that. So I've got 40 inches of monitor in front of me that I'm sitting in the center of, and I'm probably a good 10 inches further from the edges than I am from the center. So that does make a difference when you turn your head. That's something I was looking at recently about looking at different types of screens. If you tend to sit in bed and look at a screen, they say it's very important that you keep it at the same distance, because if you move it closer and farther away, it can create eye strain and fatigue because your eyes are having to compensate for the different distances. So the same is true when you look at a monitor. If I'm looking at the edges of my monitor and looking at the center, my eyes have to focus at different distances, even as I read across a page, because the screen is actually moving further away from me as I move to the right or to the left. So that's something to think about from the curved screen perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's on a lot of its preference too.
Yeah, it is. And it's I thank God I can say that I'm so happy that I don't have to sit in front of a monitor all day, because I used to get, all kinds of wrist problems, and I didn't necessarily get headaches, but I'm glad that I don't spend my life in front of a monitor.
That
hours plus a day.
That help you out, Mike? He must have stepped away.
So common resolutions. It's interesting. There's a lot of, there's full HD, which is 1920 by 1080. There's wide quad HD, 2560 by 1440. There's wide quad XGA, which is 2560 by 1600. You just go off into outer space here. 8K UHD, 768 by 4320. And I can send you to a YouTube video where the guy talks about how you cannot see 4K. You can't, your mind, your brain, some people that are very good, have very good eyesight, like fighter pilots, can see things flash in an infinitesimal time frame that might actually notice something flash that most people would miss. But 4K, the resolution in some cases is so high that and plus your eye doesn't see it around the entire field of vision. It only sees the really high resolution in the center. So there's a lot of things about high resolution that you might want to consider before you go out and buy that 4K television and spend twice as much for it as you would over a full HD. The other thing that goes on with monitors and TVs is that it starts to look fake. It's so clear that you notice, in a theatrical sense, you might see the scenery, which they didn't bother to, when they filmed that particular movie or video, they didn't bother to make it look all that great because they know that it wouldn't be noticed. But now that it's noticed, you see, oh, that snow looks fake, because it is fake. Plus the refresh time.
This is sort of like in the early days when we had RGB monitors, the composite, right after we were using the monochrome.
Oh, the green screens, yeah.
Green screen or the orange screen. And if you hook a color, anything, a program to a green screen, like to watch a video, it was so high resolution that it looked fake. It looked really fake. But to go back to the monitor, I mean, I don't see any reason to buy all this bells and whistles on the monitor unless you have the video card to support it, right?
Well, I mean, I think it depends. When you say bells and whistles, what exactly are you talking about?
And like here's that multi-syncing.
Well,
I mean,
but that comes with the territory. When you're buying a monitor with either G-Sync or FreeSync, you are buying it to take advantage of FreeSync or G-Sync in most cases. Now, that HPM monitor was only $130.
Right.
So, I mean,
it's cheap enough to get it.
It's cheap enough that even if you're probably not taking advantage of the FreeSync capability, it's still probably a pretty good monitor.
It's like buying a multimedia size DVD player, CD player, and you really all you're going to use it is for DVD. That's fine, but that's what they make it. It's not like oh well, should I buy this? You get it. It's cheap enough to get it right. It's $139 for 27 monitors. Gee.
Yeah, I mean
it's sort of like unheard. And HP has good monitors. I mean, the one I'm using here is an Ink. I mean, it's been on forever and ever and ever, and that's only 25. I think the one in there, the white one, I think that's an HP.
yeah.
They make good good monitors, but I would I never anytime I buy a monitor, I never look at those nitty gritty things. I want to have good refresh rate. Everything else that's out there, unless it's dirt cheap, I mean really cheap, like sub 100 or something like that, it would work fine.
I put 2 links in the chat, and it's very interesting because the first video that I point to here is you don't see in 4K, the one I mentioned earlier. And then somebody has somebody put another video up there. What do you mean you can't see in 4K? So take it for what it's worth. Watch both of them because they both make good arguments over whether you can and can't see in 4K. And the reality is that it's not so much, well, gee, I see this detail or I see that. Is it worth it to spend the money? That's the question. And do you have, just like anything else, you have a great 4K monitor. What's your video card like? Do you have this crappy old video card that's not going to be able to take advantage of that? You got to take it into account. How many times, Amnon, have we gone ahead and bought something and thought, oh, I'm going to use this new thing, and find out I have to upgrade everything else to get it to work?
Yeah, I mean that's my point. There's a lot of things. Buy something that you can use today. Don't buy it for 4 years from now, because in 4 years the standards are going to change. And I used to say something about computers. Don't buy a computer today and base it on what you're going to need in 3 years. You're going to pay an arm and a leg, and chances are by 3 years turn, you're going to find out, oh, this is old. Buy it for today. And it's a lot easier when you're talking office work. Not, I mean, like Nick playing games, he's got to think more about what am I going to put into this computer, and what GPU am I going to put, and how much memory and all that. But if you're doing, browsing and just standard low end office stuff, which most people do on their computers these days, you don't need anything, a supersonic. If you if you're flying from Raleigh to Wilmington, you don't buy a jet that flies 1,000 miles an hour. If you want to fly, then you buy something that you can afford and maintain. But if you fly back and forth to Europe, that's a different story now.
So it's again, don't spend too much money on things that you think are nice, because you probably will never use them. To tell you the truth, using that wide monitor in the office, many times, I mean, versus two monitors side by side, many times I would be on one side of the monitor and you start typing and you're actually typing on that side of the monitor. You don't think about, oh, I switched, because it's on the same monitor. While if you have two separate monitors, it's like the way you think. It's okay, I'm on a different one now. Click on this because I want to switch to that. So it's nice to have, and it's nice and it's not nice. A lot of people are saying, why aren't you looking at it as 16 by 9? Well, it's not a 16 by 9 monitor. And in order to get two screens on it, you almost have to go to 4 by 3 to see two screens. So I mean, this one was given to me. Would I have bought it? Probably not. I would buy two smaller monitors that would go side by side. But yeah, it's nice. And I have seen, I don't know what size it is. It's probably 48-inch curved. It wasn't really tall. It was like almost standard height, but it was curved, and you could put 4 screens on it. Is it nice? Yes. But is it something that anybody would need? No. And why would you spend $600, $700, $800 on a monitor if you don't really going to take advantage? But that's, But anyway.
So I was at a neighborhood gathering last night. We were talking about televisions and the new TVs that's come out recently is one that's actually held to the wall by magnets. The electronics are in a bar along the bottom, and all it is really just a flat screen that has no bezel that attaches to the wall. And I think it's 80 or 85 inches. But yeah, it's only $3,000.
But it's being held, so you have special magnets that you screw into the wall.
I don't know. That's what the person was telling me, but I was just saying, oh, I want to get that. It's like, why?
I'd like to know how you make it all.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
Well.
All right. Google Voice. Google took a long break from Google Voice a while back. After letting the app fall into despair, Google expressed a renewed commitment to Voice in 2017. It has since announced a handful of feature updates, including VoIP calling in 2018. However, that feature never actually rolled out to everyone. Google's Scott Johnson says it's almost time, though, to roll it to everyone. Like far too, we know that some voice users got VoIP calling as far back as September. Like far too many Google features lately, this is a server-side change and not controlled by an app update. So for some unknown reason, Google has dragged its feet, rolling it out to everyone. According to Johnson, things are back on track, and the VoIP calling feature will be live for all users by next week. Spence, I know you don't use Google Voice, right?
I have a number. I don't use it. In fact, it reminds me, I got an email saying if I don't make a call with it soon, I'm going to lose the number.
I clicked on the wrong thing. Gal, you use Google Voice, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I use it exclusively.
And do you know about this thing here, what they're talking about?
No, but when you mention it, I just Google it a bit. So the thing is that with the I know how it works with an Android phone. I don't know how it works with an iPhone. With an Android phone, it takes over your calling. So I still call regularly, use the regular dialer app, but with the voice app activated, it takes over the call, performs a handshake with the Google Voice service, and my call actually goes out through Google Voice to my destination. So I'm using regular calling. I think they're talking about making it so that the phone will perform a VoIP handshake instead of using the phone system for that call. What they're describing is a server-side change and nothing to do with the apps themselves. So people won't experience any difference in the experience they go through. Looks like they're working on the server side of Google Voice and making changes. They're probably letting people know that if something breaks in the couple of weeks is because we're tinkering with this and we're installing new features on the back end. I'll let you know how it affects me, if at all.
All right. I mean, it's just
yeah. But about speaking about companies making changes in the background and Google. One of the things that I did read this week is Google Hangouts is going to get some changes.
Yeah.
They're talking about splitting it into Hangouts chat and Hangouts calls or something like that.
Meet.
Yeah. I'm guessing they're trying to position themselves as Zoom or Zoom competitors or something. But I wonder how it will affect us. I don't know if anyone knows. In the background, this call is conducted via Hangouts. So that's going to be interesting.
It'll be Zoom if they. I mean, from what I know, it'll stay, and we can continue using it. I don't know if there's going to be changes to what we can do with it, but we'll see. But there's always Zoom.
Yeah.
And it's fine, they need to make money and all that. I understand. But here's another thing. Mark Zuckerberg plans to integrate the social network messaging services, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger, asserting his control over the company's sprawling division at a time when its business has been battered by scandals. The move, described by 4 people involved in the effort, requires thousands of Facebook employees to reconfigure how WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger function at their basic levels. While all 3 services will continue operating as standalone apps, their underlying messaging infrastructure will be unified. Those people, that's what they said. Facebook is still in the early stages of the work and plans to complete it by the end of this year or in early 2020. So it looks like it's still going to be 3 different apps, but they're going to use like the same engine, the infrastructure. I don't know. Again, I don't use any of these. What do you use? Nick, you use,
all 3 of them.
You use all 3. And
Yep.
Does this mean something to you that they're going to integrate?
Oh yeah, it's going to suck. I mean, I don't want all 3 of them together. They're all 3 totally different services. Instagram is a picture sharing service. Messenger is an IM service, and Facebook is Facebook. I mean,
right, but they're saying that WhatsApp, Instagram function at their most basic level. All 3 services will continue operating as standalone apps. Their underlying messaging infrastructure will be unified.
Oh, then I don't care. As long as the apps are staying separate. Yeah, I mean, as long as the apps stay separate. I mean, I don't want to have to launch Facebook to post a picture to Instagram.
Yeah.
Or launch, Instagram to send a message to somebody on Facebook.
Well, to be fair, right? When they did it with Messenger, they split it out.
They did, and I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah. So it looks like this is what they're thinking of. They're keeping it separate, but so think about this. You can, from Messenger, you can DM somebody in Instagram. And if they use, so it's going to be the same process. So if somebody goes to Instagram for most of their activity, they'll still get your message, even though they never open Messenger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
I agree. No, I agree that's a good thing. When I originally saw that story, I'm glad you read through it. I thought they were combining
that's what I
all
thought,
three apps into one big, probably into Facebook, as if I had to assume. Combine it all into Facebook, which wouldn't be a good idea. Do we have time for one more quick thing before we wrap up here?
Sure.
So last week, we talked about the VoIPO hack, and everybody talked me off the ledge about, jumping ship and walking over to a new service. But in reality, I was in the market for a backup VoIP service anyway. We've at the radio station, we've got a dual line IP hybrid system. The primary line is VoIPO, and I need second line ability, and wanted a different service just to have some redundancy. So I found after doing some digging and trying to find a service that isn't $40 a month for a phone line, I ended up, and I haven't used it, I haven't really tested it a whole lot yet, but I set up an account, did some basic testing with it. It's called Anveo, ANVEO.com. Their website is nothing hot. So don't let that be a
NVO?
ANVEO.com is the website.
Okay.
And it's an interesting service. It's a lot of pay as you go, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'm kind of over at this point. But if you're looking for if you need a SIP device or a SIP phone with a lot of functionality, this service pretty much does everything. You add credit to your account and then pay for things as you pay for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the plan that I have has free, unlimited incoming calling, and you pay some, marginal fee a second for outgoing call or minute for outgoing calling. But there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do in here. You can register. When I clicked North Carolina area code, North Carolina city, Wilmington, there must have been 5,000 phone numbers that pulled up that I could have registered. I could register a whole block of phone numbers if I wanted to.
But you want to.
But I just wanted to get one number.
Can you port your number to them?
I'm sure
some companies you cannot.
I'm sure you probably can. But the one thing that I wasn't a fan of is after I set it all up and I tried dialing, I have to pay $1.50 a month for E911, which they're required to offer. Well, that's what they're required to have. Some services offer it for free, but they charge for it. So,
what's the website again, Nick?
It's ANVEO.com.
ANZEO.com is
ANVEO.
V is in Victor.
Anveo.
In the chat.
Not ZV and VO. Check it out. I mean, you can make an account, and then because you don't pay for anything up front, make an account and then go into their dashboard, and you can. I mean, I was just pretty blown away with what I could buy. The fact that I could buy like 20 in succession phone numbers, I thought was pretty cool. So there you go. ANVEO.com. I haven't really used it a whole lot, but they offer some cool stuff, and it's not super expensive.
Huh?
So there you go.
I mean, I think with VoIPO, it's still for the home user. It's still, if you get it on the special, it still comes to about $7 a month.
Yeah. So I think the phone number is, I want to say maybe $2 a month or $3 a month. An E911 was like $1.50, and then there was a setup setup fee for each of them. But I don't.
And they send you a TA?
No. This is just SIP. This is fully SIP. So I've already got the SIP clients.
Okay.
Well, I see. I'm looking there at the rates, and they look like a good. So I still have an Israeli number, which works similar to this. Do you know if their SIP the SIP if I can connect their SIP to OBHI?
If the OBHI allows you to connect a SIP client, then yeah, a SIP server, then yes. I mean, I've got this on just a regular. It's a JK Audio hybrid IP2, and it's just got it needs a password, host name, username, and then like extension number. And
right,
they do use unstandard ports, but any SIP client would allow you to change that. Are you asking if you can buy an Israeli number on here?
I can.
You can. Yeah. Geographical.
I see their rate is $4 a month for an Israeli. I currently pay $5, and it looks like it's a $4 a month on the personal unlimited. So I won't even pay per minute.
Well, yeah, and I actually
for incoming calls, and that's what I want. I don't want to pay for incoming calls.
Yeah, and I'm actually using the free subscription plan, which because it's not going to be used a whole lot, you don't even have to buy a monthly subscription.
You're going to use it as a backup.
Well, no, not as a backup. It's going to be it's not going to be a super utilized number.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm looking at here. What was your area code in Israel?
It doesn't matter. I just need a number so people in Israel
can
reach out without thinking about making an international call.
Yeah, so it looks like
most of the calls today are WhatsApp.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this for area code 4 in Israel, the $4 a month thing. The only thing they get you on is they do charge setup fees. So it's $3 to set up a $4 a month account. So it's $7 for the first month.
But that's a one time.
And then it's $4 going forward. Yeah.
Where do you see the setup fee? Or
I'm logged into the back end, and
okay.
I'm trying to actually buy the number.
Okay.
But if I just
I'll do that. I'll see if I can.
Yeah.
I'm not sure my OBHI has a free slot, but if it has a free slot,
yeah,
I think I use all the numbers there. But
and again, I haven't really tested it. I've just made a very simple inbound and outbound calls to make sure the numbers work. That's the only testing I've done with it. So just be aware it's not I haven't dug down deep. And again, if you're going to buy a US number, you need to pay $1.50 for E911. So factor that into your cost.
Mm-hmm.
But I put $15 on the account. I still have $8 in there after buying a phone number and E911 for a month. So we'll see. I'll report back over the next couple weeks about it.
Oh, it's interesting.
But it's got full PBX and everything in here. It's pretty cool. And you can do faxes, SMS and faxes with it as well.
Well, only in the States. Well, States, UK, and Spain.
Correct, yeah. Countries that
Canada,
have that as supported.
Belgium, yeah.
And this, it's a cent a minute it's a cent per text message if you don't have a subscription plan.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, definitely something. Thanks.
Yep.
I've been looking. It's strange though that most of these sites are like terrible design.
Well, it's because I spent probably a good 2 or 3 hours this week looking for a SIP provider, and all I kept finding was Ring Central and all of these very expensive business class phone things. And I eventually stumbled across on like page 7 of Bing, a Reddit thread where some guy was like, I need a dirt cheap SIP number. I need a couple of dirt cheap SIP numbers for equipment to make incoming and outgoing phone calls. And somebody recommended this service. And then it's the back end is very clunky, but it's, it seems like it's very powerful.
It's probably just clunky because you're not used to it.
No, I think it's clunky because it's so powerful. I mean, the interface of it is a mess. It's just, I mean, there's like 100 different options. It's kind of
the problem is that a lot of these the people that provide these services are actually just buying bulk capability from a larger company that has a big server, and they're selling it. Mm-hmm. They're buying it wholesale and selling it retail.
Yeah, that might be what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
But have you encountered DIDWW? I remember looking at them, almost buying from them. I don't remember why I didn't at the end.
No, I did not.
check them as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will do.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
No, sir.
Gal,
Well,
Spence?
I'm definitely going to take a look at the Pi-hole, but I think I'm actually going to finally buy a Raspberry Pi to do that instead of running it on my server.
There you go.
Because I want it to be external to the flow of information. So it'll be interesting. I'll let you know if I get it done by next week. If not, then probably the week after.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what the end result is.
Yeah.
As far as what it looks, what does the web page, what does it look like at the user experience?
Well, from the description on the site, it seems that they're just injecting blank content where the ad is supposed to be. But there's a bit more to it. They have some security wrapped into DNS as well. So it's an interesting project. So I think it's finally worth shelling out the bucks for a Raspberry Pi. I haven't found a single project that enticed me to do it. And yesterday was my birthday, so this is a good chance of asking those who ask me what to buy you for I'm gonna ask for a Raspberry Pi. It's small enough, and I'll play with it.
You're gonna ask them for a Pi-hole for your birthday? That
Exactly.
See how that goes.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Shut your pie hole.
All right. All right, guys. That was fun.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Spence.
I'll bask in the glow of this for the rest of the day.
Thanks, Spence. Thanks, Gal, Mike. Thanks, Nick. That was fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Dana. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Tonight at 7, Nick is hosting Against the Norm. And at 9, Mike Phillips hosts the Crypto Culture Show. Both these shows are on Wilmington Big Talker, 106.7 FM, and you can listen anywhere in the world on TuneIn. And to find the link to TuneIn, you can just go to the links on the left menu here. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.